What's your story?
My story. Okay. I was born and raised here in Vegas. My mom was a singer. Back in the day, she was a showgirl. She used to perform in Aruba and stuff like that. And she just never followed through with it because she's like a homebody and doesn't like to travel. So I've always had music in my life from like a young kid. My mom would play everything between my parents. Like my mom would play all the oldies and like my dad would play the rock and hip hop. So like that's how I kind of got so I would say my music taste was so eclectic because I kind of grew up with everything and then of course my own stuff growing up. Um, but yeah, I grew up here in Vegas. I went to Valley High School. I met a lot of people, did music stuff there sometimes, and I was mostly in sports though. So I was like the jock in high school, but like the nerdy jock because I did theater too. So, and then I just started to really just love writing. I think I just started with poetry mostly, and then went to Virginia, did an apprenticeship after college, and um, decided to do Fredericksburg Idol, and that's kind of what really like jolted me into doing music. I won that, so I won some money and like a contract to do some recording. Never got to do the recording though because I left. But while I was there, I met Kane, which is a rapper out on the East Coast, and he put me on his album, and he kind of planted that seed of like, hey, you should do this. But I didn't know like it would be where it's at right now. I didn't really start singing until like my own music until 2000 and I want to say 19, the end of 2019. I met Smokey Tone. He's huge here in Vegas for poetry, and he does a lot of stuff with the community. They were doing a talent showcase at the Boulevard Mall, and I grew up right next to the Boulevard Mall. So I was like, cool. And yeah, that kind of just started everything. I started going to open mics, and then I went to the Jam, which was held at Ninja Karaoke every Mondays. And they were like, can you feature? Like, I was my first night there, and I was like, sure. And it just kind of started rolling from there. And every weekend I was featured at Classic Jewel, Cork and Thorn. I did Container Park like for an hour. That was wild because it's a huge stage. And I'm like, it was my first really big stage and by myself. Yeah, and I love it. It just made me want to keep going. And now I'm in Sad Art Collective, which is a group of independent artists, all rappers. I'm the only girl. I rap too, but like, just they're all just like, I have two singers actually, my producer and storyteller, they sing, but it's pretty cool. It's been fun. Yeah. I'm excited to see where it all goes.
Yeah, it sounds like you like all the experiences are snowballing right now.
Yes, and it's crazy because I got really, I would say kind of depressed after, I think a lot of us did when COVID hit because I had just started kind of peaking here in Vegas, like where I was starting to get noticed and things were happening, and then everything stopped and I was like, now what? Because that had been after my divorce. That had kind of been the thing that was like keeping me sane, and like it really helped me grow and find new friends and a new life. And so when that kind of got paused, it was hard, but it was my roommate at the time. Me and him, we had a great time. We made the best out of it. And now it's just Sad Art started putting out music all throughout 2020 this summer. We're like, we're just going to put out music. So my first ever song, Vibes, was put out April 10th, almost a full year ago. So that's how new I am to recording. It's like my first song was recorded and put out on April 10th. So still pretty new comparatively to a lot of the people here in Vegas. And I just had a song played at the Golden Knights game last week or 2 weeks ago. Gumbo was played there. So that's really crazy. If you're born and raised here and then like our first home team of something, like it was really, really cool. Like seeing my name on the big, monitor and my song playing in front, it was really kind of surreal. And then Vegas Weekly had a write-up about Sad Art in there. So like all of us signed it for my mom. So that was cool. I'm like, this is weird. And then this is like my first like interview with like all of the cameras. So it's kind of awkward, but I'm like, I guess I gotta get used to this. But
yeah. Jam.